Yes, everybody, and welcome to High on Homegrown, the cannabis podcast from PercysGrowRoom.com. I am Mackie from the UK, and joining us this week, we have Marge.
Hello, everyone. This is Marge, host of your favorite edibles podcast, possibly actually, it's not the only one, but Bite Me, the show about edibles, and it's minus 34 I am. And I happen to be coming from Saskatchewan. I'm sitting in TG's office right now.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, he's GB over in
Yeah, he
Canada
is.
right now.
Yeah.
No way.
Crazy
Cool,
fucker
man.
decided to come to Canada in January, and
Oof.
it's so goddamn cold.
And yeah, now it's fucking freezing. Jesus.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, you don't experience temperatures like that very often, you know?
No, not even here sometimes. Not even like it's colder than normal. Let's just say that. Yeah.
Yes, and then we also have Monkey Do. What's up, Monkey?
Hey everybody, Monkey Do down here in I would used to say nice and warm southeast, but not happening right now. So yeah, I mean I'm in the southeast today. So yeah. Hope everybody's got something nice to smoke because you're not going to be going out getting any, that's for sure.
No.
Yes, that was a very professional intro. That was a good one there. We should have Brian from the Brian and Marco show joining us at some point. He's just running a little bit late. Hopefully he can join us while the news is going on. Bubble Huck was going to join us, but there was an accident with some kind of sex toy in the bath. I don't want to go into too much detail, but yeah, he's not going to be able to make it this time around.
Did that sex toy really ruin his press? I mean, that's what I was hearing, something about the press and the sex toy. I really don't understand it, but yeah.
Well, apparently it was a really heavy one, and it landed on the press. He can't get hold of his rosin. It's all sticky everywhere. It smells funny. So
and lube everywhere.
Lube. Yeah, he can't get up. He keeps slipping on the floor. You know?
Jeez, man.
So maybe next week. Yeah, he didn't expect us to reveal his personal information like that, everybody. We weren't supposed to do that, but we just feel as if you all have the right to know what's going on with Bubble Huck. All right?
I would say the truth, but yeah, okay.
That's so funny. Grouchy in the chat says typical Aussie, so there you have it.
If he wants to come and clear his name, then he can join us next week.
That's right. He's definitely going to find a way to make it.
Oh, shit.
I love it.
But yeah, so we got the cannabis news and events today. We got a good few news articles to be discussing and some bad news as well. Kind of a mix between the whole lot. Of course, we have some controversy and hypocrisy from the UK because that's just about the only news article you can find nowadays.
Yeah, you need to try and find some good news out of the UK sometime, if that's even possible, but maybe one day.
I try, and it damages my soul every time. Every week, my soul gets darker through looking through such terrible news. Yeah,
it's black by now then.
yeah. It's a waste of time of even trying to deal with it now. It's gone.
Right.
I see UK weed news comes by my newsfeed, but honestly, I've never seen a positive weed story come out of the UK.
No,
it's been a long time.
This is legitimately like Airstrip 1. This is from 1984. They won't let us have the good news stories about cannabis. The Ministry of Truth will not allow that.
Okay.
Until it's good for them, and then they'll go back and edit all the details. You know, that's where it goes.
Now I see a lot of great stories about how the police, state are grabbing, 1,000 pounds of cannabis here and 1,500 pounds of cannabis there.
Heroes, not all heroes wear capes. Yes,
there's all kind of stories about half pound here, a pound there, kind of stuff going on, but I never.
We'll call them kilos over here. We don't call them pounds over here.
Oh, okay.
Right.
2 kilos of cannabis. Yes.
True.
Yeah, so we got some good, interesting news stories. We should move on to them pretty quick, but let's quickly discuss what we're smoking on. I've completely forgot what the fuck I've been smoking on for like a while. I can't remember the name of it now. It was Forgotten Strawberries, that's it. Or was it Forbidden Strawberries? Yeah, from Mephisto. Damn.
Forgotten.
Yeah, it must be. Yeah, there we go. Maybe that's why I fucking forgot the name.
I got the same beans. I've actually got the same weed, but not today. I'm not smoking that today.
Maybe that's it. It's like every time I come to think about it, it's like, what's it called? Forgotten. Oh, I've forgotten. It's that the first word of the name is forgotten. That's what it is. Forgotten Strawberries. That's right.
It's called that for a reason.
Yeah. Well, you got Marge. What are you smoking on today?
Well, because I'm sitting in TG's office, I am surrounded by 37 different options and I haven't selected yet. So I'm not sure. There's a lot of choice here, more than I'm used to.
Nice.
Yeah.
And some hash. Is there any hash you got?
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you got
Yeah,
everything you
full
need right there. Mm-mm.
concentrates and hash and whatever the
Diamonds and
motherfucker's
sauce
desire.
and you name it. Yeah, it's all
Yeah.
there.
Spoiled for choice. What you got, Monkey?
Today I chose Nakatomi Plaza in the vape today. So we loaded up, hitting the Nakatomi Plaza. Good stuff, man. Really good stuff.
Nice. It sounds like everybody's good and ready to get high. Don't forget to let us know what you're all smoking on out there in the chat as well. We got a Mad
Yeah,
Dog
we
on
got some nice
biscotti.
choices.
I wonder what that biscotti is like, because I like biscotti. You know what biscotti is?
Yeah,
know
those
what that is.
cookies you eat with your
Yeah.
coffee. They're delicious.
Good shit. I bet
Tangerine
it can't taste anything like biscotti. Tangerine Dream Classic. Oof.
Yeah.
I hadn't had that in a
Leo.
long time,
Nice.
and I'm really wanting me some orange strains. I'm definitely popping orange beans next time.
You got to go Dutch Passion, man. Get some of that orange bud.
No, I've got
Yeah,
one
citrus
already
stuff is
chosen.
good.
I got some King's juice and some orange cola for my next run. So those ought to be fun.
Nice. You got Super Silver Haze there from Billy. Nice. Argyle Stash from Backblast with some Tropicana Cherry. That's your own one there, Monkey. How does that feel? Knowing there's people out there smoking the
No.
cannabis that you have bred.
Is it Tropicana cherries?
Yeah, that's what it says.
Tropicana cherry and some Argyle Stash.
Okay, Tropicana cherry is not the same as Tropicana cherries. I found that out. So
Oh, right. Got that.
it all depends. But I'm still looking for beans on those. I mean, if any of our listeners know where I can find some seeds from Relentless Genetics Tropicana cherries, hit me up on Instagram. Let me know.
That's
Appreciate
right.
it.
We're
Haven't
asking for
found
your
those
help
beans,
today.
Still looking. That's
Yes.
it, man. Somebody knows where those beans are. I know it.
Grouchy's on the Dirty Street Weed, unlucky. Shoddy Fusion on the G41. Sherbet Queen for Mutts Nuts. Chem 4. Nice, man. We've got a nice selection out there in the chat. Very, very nice. But I think that's it for now. Anything else to discuss before we go on to the news? I think this is just about everything, right?
I think so.
I think so. I think it's that time then. Let's just do it. Let's just get stuck in. Because we got some articles to cover. Let's do it.
We do.
And here we go. This week's cannabis news and events. Which ones are we going to do first? I got a couple here from the UK. I did one. We're just going to hit one from the UK because it's just ridiculous, man. I want to get it out of the way. You know, if there is any way of me having a Mackie rant and getting wound up, we should do it now. And then towards the end of the show, we can end on a good note. I think that's a good strategy. You all agree? You all agree? I think so.
Let's do it.
Right. Let me find this one. This is from a police website. And of course, as I said there in the intro, you know, not all heroes wear capes. And here in the UK, our police officers, very, very brave people, and protecting us from these degenerate drug users out on the streets. So I'll show you what we have here. We have a suspicious scooter rider arrested following cannabis seizure. And now we can already
people
putting their lives on the line, getting these little bastards riding around on their electric scooters with cannabis upon their possession. This is
Wait a minute.
disgusting.
We know how much cannabis he can really carry on that e-scooter, right? You
Oh
know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
oh yeah. So I'll continue
kilos.
here. Yeah, kilos, not pounds, kilos. You know? So we have a suspected. Oh, it's scrolling. Don't fucking scroll, you bastard. Sorry about that. There we go. It keeps scrolling. It's because I added a new button today, which will make the news pop up and disappear nice and easily. It's the scroll on my mouse. So when I'm clicking it, it's doing dodgy things. So just go back to the normal way. I'll change the button for next week. I'll edit all that out. Yes, so we have here. I'll put it on the screen so you can see. A suspected drug dealer. Everybody, a suspected drug dealer was arrested after being stopped while riding an e-scooter. Officers were on their way to another incident in Bestwood when they spotted someone acting suspiciously. What that is, I do not know.
Riding an e-scooter.
Yeah, riding an e-scooter, probably got one hand down his trousers. You know how they roll. You know, Balaclava, he's got a face mask on because that's suspicious.
Right.
Now it's not 2020. You know, Due to the suspect being close to the location of the other report, police followed as they rode an e-scooter along Arnold Road. After catching up with the rider at around 2:35 a.m. on Tuesday the 9th of January, officers noticed a strong smell of cannabis. Oh my God. Oh my God. You can just already know how much of a degenerate criminal this person is, riding around on an e-scooter with his hands in his trousers, stinking of
At
cannabis.
2:35 a.m.
At 2:35 a.m.
Oh,
on a Tuesday, on a school night,
Like-
you know?
Was he even wearing socks? That's what I want to know, you know?
Well, yeah, he's definitely wearing at least one sock, you know? Suspected he could be a drug dealer, police searched his bag and found quantities of cannabis, while more drugs were discovered on the floor nearby. Cash was also seized from inside the bag, along with a burner-style phone that contained messages relating to the supply of drugs. Following these discoveries, an 18-year-old man was arrested on suspicion of possessing with the intent to supply Class B drugs. Sergeant James Campin of Nottinghamshire Police said, "Our officers showed great awareness of their surroundings to spot suspicious behaviour while on their way to a separate job. As a direct result of this, we were able to detain a suspected drug dealer and seize quantities of cannabis that might have otherwise been sold on the streets."
Dun, dun,
He's
dun.
probably talking like a quarter or something, 7 grams.
It's not even. It's probably like 3 grams, man. They haven't mentioned if it was a decent amount that they could be somewhat proud of. They would have mentioned. There's no
Yeah,
mention
how much do you
whatsoever.
carry on a scooter?
It's probably just one of these guys called Shotting here in the UK. He's out there shotting weed, little 10 bags. So it's like 0.8 of a gram, because it's not even a gram nowadays. And he's just flying around selling these out to people. It's probably fucking like a quarter, like you say, probably 7 grams, man. It wouldn't be much. And they don't mention the amount of cash. They say other drugs were found, but then go on to say that he was only under intent of supplying Class B drugs. So that's no crack, that's no cocaine, that's no heroin. When they say other drugs, they just probably mean cannabis. There was more cannabis on the floor, but they've reworded it to be other drugs, because you know how they twist these facts. Anyway, I'll finish this off here. Nottinghamshire Police is committed to doing whatever we can to tackle drug activity in our communities, as we know how much of a negative impact this can have on people's lives. We urge anyone with any information about drug dealing or drug production in the area to always call the police, and blah 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 and blah blah blah. So there we go.
Oh, wait a minute.
Why
I need to
does it
definitely
have
write
such
that
a
phone number
negative-
down, though. You know,
Yeah.
it's important. We write that phone number down.
Write that phone number down, everybody.
My
I'm
question
sorry.
is, why does it have such a negative impact on people's lives? Is it because people are calling Crime Stoppers on e-scooter people?
Well, nowadays, yeah, that's what people are pissed off about the most. These people just flying around on the
E-scooters.
fucking pavements on these
Right.
electric scooters, and people are getting pissed at that. But what?
Well, I think you're right about the quantity of this. This was a small bust. I mean, there is not even a mention anywhere about weight, value,
Right.
or anything.
Mhm.
No
If it was
inflated
anything
numbers anywhere.
consequential, they would have definitely put it in there. But
Definitely.
instead, they're like, "We got him, boys."
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
guarantee you, it's less than an ounce that they found this guy with.
Oh, 100%.
But you know what
And then
bothers me? You know what
impact-
bothers? Sorry, Marge.
It's because, well, I'm just saying the negative impact, because they're like, we know how much of a negative impact this has on people's lives. It's because they get fucking arrested for it.
Mm-hmm.
That is the negative impact. You're
That's
right.
the negative impact. It's
And
not
then you got to
anything
live
else.
with the police record after it. Yeah. I
Right.
mean, that is, you get rid of that and there's no big deal.
Right. There's no negative impact anymore.
Some bullshit,
Yep.
man. Some bullshit. I mean, you shouldn't be riding around on the e-scooter at 2 o'clock in the morning with bags of weed in your fucking pocket. That's a stupid thing to be doing in the first place. But, you know, maybe
Right.
it's just a young guy, he's 18 years old, he's trying to just fucking make some money. And maybe he's got fucking dogs to feed or something. I don't know, man. It's just, it's shocking that he's not allowed to go and make his own little fucking business and get shit up and running. Because then he could pay Rishi Sunak all the tax that Rishi wants. Because, you know, there's been a lot of tax changes in the UK recently that are all fuckery. But,
Well, it's hard out there right now for everybody.
oh yeah, for everybody in all
people
countries, not
riding
just the UK. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Fucking, there was something which I was gonna say. I completely forgot what it was. Regarding this,
Stoner.
but there's
Yeah.
there's so many stabbings going on in the UK right now. I don't know whether you've seen it. It's just crazy, man. Maybe it's just the news I'm seeing, but there just seems to be a massive rise in it. And these police officers are out there on a Tuesday night stopping a guy on an e-scooter because he smelled of cannabis. It's, man,
Right.
Well, they didn't know he smelled the cannabis till they stopped him. I
Yeah,
guarantee that.
yeah.
They didn't
Mhm.
smell it from a distance. There's no way.
It's just they've got far more important things to be dealing with, and maybe it does say here they were stopping him because of a previous incident where they think he could have been involved in a previous incident that we're being called to, which is a possibility. But it's just, I feel as if the police have just got far more important things to be dealing with in the UK right now, rather than chasing people down on an e-scooter with 10-pound bags of weed. And then you're gonna knock this 18-year-old kid off the fucking e-scooter. Weed and cash is gonna fly everywhere, and what's going to happen after this? Is anything really going to stop? Have you dented in any way the drug supply that's going on in Northamptonshire or Nottinghamshire?
Not if he's carrying the quantity we suspect he's carrying. No, no, they've not done anything.
This isn't making a difference. It's doing absolutely nothing but making detrimental impacts on an 18-year-old man's life. Should he be doing that? No, he shouldn't. But should he have a record for the rest of his life because he was in possession of a harmless fucking herb? No, he shouldn't. There's more important things these people need to be doing instead of going around chasing little shits like this. Fucking legalize already so they don't have to do this shit anymore, It's frustrating to see this constantly happening, but at the same time, you're seeing kids and adults dying in the street over stupid fucking stabbings, man. It's... God damn. It winds me up. But anyway, yeah, so that is one out of the UK. I do have another one, but we'll get back to that in a little bit, because that one's a bit ranty as well. We'll do that one maybe about halfway through. It's from the UK. What can I say? It makes me ranty.
Right.
So what do we have next? You wanna hit the news story you have there, Monkey? Want to hit one of yours?
Yeah. Now,
well, you got both of yours together, ain't it?
Yeah. I've got two stories that kind of piggyback one on top of another, so we'll hit these together if you don't mind. We'll hit these. Okay, so out of the U.S., of course, it says federal scientists conclude there is credible evidence for certain medical uses of cannabis. Now, the article actually says marijuana, but you don't always do that. But anyway, federal scientists, that's important because now we have somebody from the government saying this, that there's a reason we should do this. Okay, the Department of Health and Human Services concluded that cannabis is less harmful than other dangerous drugs, and there is some evidence of its medical benefits in recommending loosening federal restrictions on the drug. The agency on Friday released a 252-page review outlining the reasoning that the Food and Drug Administration used to come up with that conclusion. It states that there exists some credible scientific support for the medical use of cannabis, at least one of the indications which is widespread current experience in the United States. Basically, they're saying that they're allowing the federal government is allowing the evidence that we've created by legalization in states to be now admissible in their eyes. So they're saying that these states that have been using medical cannabis and seeing really good results, okay, now that's going to be added to the reasons why we might consider lowering this from a Schedule 1 to a Schedule 3. This and other findings of the review are a major department in how the federal government views cannabis. For the last 60 plus years, cannabis has been classified as a Schedule 1 drug, same as heroin, under the Controlled Substance Act, which means that the substance means it's a substance of high abuse potential and no accepted medical use. Now, we all know, we've heard this over and over and over again, but I think most people who listen to this show know that we get medical benefit from this medicine. We definitely know this. And we're now seeing that the government is kind of starting to say, well, something there. The review was conducted at the request of President Biden, who instructed the HHS in an executive order issued in October 2022, to look through all available research on cannabis and recommend if the drug should be moved from the list of federally controlled drugs or removed from the list altogether. Bloomberg first reported in August that the HHS had recommended cannabis be moved to Schedule 3, and that the release of these documents on Friday confirms that. So even though we heard it, now we actually see the documents that they're actually putting out there. The Drug Enforcement Administration. Sorry, Matt.
There's some controversy behind this whole moving it to Schedule 3 thing as well, right?
There is somewhat, but it seems to be the most accepted way at this point in time.
What's the controversy around that?
It makes it more like a medicine that can only be made by pharmaceuticals or some shit. I'm not sure, but there's a lot of people who seem to be unhappy with it being moved down to Schedule 3 and think that it's the wrong move. It needs to be descheduled altogether or something.
Right. If they move it to Schedule 3, it doesn't really change the what the states are doing versus what the federals are doing, because it will not make the states that are out of compliance with the federal government now, it won't bring that back into compliance, because again, like Mackie said, it's still a controlled substance. It's just controlled to a different level.
Right. South City said in the chat, farmer will own it. That's
If
pretty
farmer
much it.
will own it, but,
Make it Schedule 3 and it belongs to Big Pharma. And fuck everybody else.
Now, you have to understand that I got caught a lot of heat for when I first brought this article up a long time ago, saying that both Democrats and Republicans, the only thing that they could agree upon was possibly rescheduling cannabis. So I was always saying that was our probable move to forward here. Now, we've seen it in all the states that have gone recreational legal. It all starts with medical. So what I'm hoping for is that the same thing's going to happen on the federal level. We'll move it from a Schedule 1 and move it into a Schedule 3, where doctors can now actually use it and people can actually get it out into society. And then they'll say after a while, well, it's kind of benign. Maybe we ought to just get rid of it altogether. And I think that, my opinion, only my opinion, that's the path that we're going to see in the United States. If it goes legal.
You know how they say, if you can't beat them, join them. And this is the same kind of thing. It's like for 70 years or so, the Big Pharma has been trying to squash cannabis and make sure it doesn't interfere with their business. So rather than putting up that fight anymore, they're just going to take over it and, work with cannabis. They're just going to own all the patents, grow all the fucking crops. And if anybody steps out of line and is like, I want to grow my cannabis too, they'll be like, shoot that motherfucker down.
Well, I understand it, and it's confusing now, because the states have gone so far to get all these other providers in place, and the regulations that we have now on cannabis growing and production are actually higher than a lot of the other pharma type things that are out there. I mean, cannabis in the United States is probably one of the cleanest products you'll ever get, because the regulations are so high. You can't get lettuce that clean. It's just not going to happen.
You can't get water that clean in some of those cities. You know what I'm saying?
You can't. So, I mean, I understand there's a lot going on here, but if they move it from a 1 to a 3, I just don't see how the heck they're going to turn around and tell 24 out of 50 states, okay, we moved it to Schedule 3, and now everything you all have done is gone, and next month, everybody's door's got to be shut and closed. I don't think that's going to happen. I really don't. So it's going to be complicated as all heck if it gets moved to Schedule 3, is all I have to say about that. I don't understand what they're going to be doing. Do they give maybe a grandfather clause to states? Okay, we'll move it to Schedule 3, but states can deschedule it altogether. That makes the most sense to me, but I don't know how you do that. I don't know if it's legal to do that, but it's crazy. Cannabis legalization has spread rapidly across the country over the last decade. 24 states, representing more than half the U.S. population, have legalized possession for use by adults, while 38 states have established medical programs. The Cannabis Review was based on 8 different scientific criteria, including its potential for abuse, the state of current scientific knowledge, and the likelihood of psychological or physiological dependence. While there are dozens of medical conditions people use cannabis for, the FDA looked at 7: anorexia, anxiety, epilepsy, inflammatory bowel disease, nausea, vomiting, pain, and PTSD. The review identified mixed findings of the effectiveness across indications. Some data was inconclusive, some was favorable, and the largest evidence base for effectiveness exists for marijuana use within the pain indication, particularly neuropathic pain. And none of this actually surprised me, because we've always said that cannabis is a medicine that works differently for everybody. You have to actually find the right strain, and it might not work for you. It might work for 3/4 of the people, and you might be one of the people it does not work for. So when they said this about mixed findings and things like that, I was not really surprised at all to hear that. I mean, that's going to be normal in my opinion. Okay. Now we'll go from that article. This was what they're talking about here. The federal government concludes there's credible evidence that it's medicine. But then the other part of the thing, the criteria here for moving it from a 1 to a 3 is risk of abuse. So now a different article comes in. The article says cannabis meets criteria for reclassification as a lower risk drug. FDA scientists review finds. So says cannabis has a lower potential for abuse than other drugs that are subjected to the same restrictions. With scientific support for its use as a medical treatment, researchers from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration said in documents supporting its reclassification to a Schedule III substance. Cannabis is currently classified as a Schedule I reserved for most dangerous controlled substances, including heroin and LSD. In 2022, Biden asked for the U.S. HHS to reschedule it, blah, 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 blah. Let's keep on going. This is where it goes. Although marijuana has a high prevalence for non-medical use, and I did say marijuana at that time, in the US, it doesn't seem to elicit serious outcomes compared with drugs such as heroin, oxycodone, codeine, the researcher said. This is especially notable given the availability of products containing very high levels of delta-9 THC, the primary active compound in cannabis. So the government is now admitting that even though there are possibilities for misuse of cannabis, the outcome for misuse of cannabis is extremely low, even considering high levels of THC, basically saying that if you overdose on it, you're going to get better. You know, it's not going to be a bad situation. We all know this. I mean, I'll admit it. I've taken too much weed before. When I was young. And I've actually, I've done the whitey, I've done the pass out, but the next day I'm able to get up and maybe with a small weed hangover, but by midday I'm feeling fine, like nothing ever happened. So, I mean, it's one of those things. It's like, yes, even though if you mess up with weed,
But at
it's
the
not
same
going to
time,
kill you,
though,
and you're not going to be bad off for a week or a month or a year, even. You know, one of those things.
you know, it's like
Go
we've
ahead,
all
Mackie.
done that, right? We've all smoked enough weed to the extent where we've either been sick, or if you haven't been sick, you just about smoked the right amount, and you just fell asleep somewhere. You know, you fucked. You know, you put in the whitey or greenie. It's called different things when you smoke too much weed. But we've all done that on alcohol too, right? You know.
Yeah, but it's a different story with alcohol.
Oh yeah,
because,
for
you know,
sure. I've done many different drugs recreationally in my life for lots of different reasons. Had good times all of the time, but there's only one drug that has ever got me so fucked up that I've forgotten how I got home, and that's alcohol. Like, everything else is fine. I remember the way home, man. But alcohol, no, I just woke up the next day at home like, okay,
What happened?
now I'm here.
mhm.
But yeah, that shit's the devil, man. You gotta be careful with that shit.
Yeah,
Alcohol is
but
the devil.
okay, Bobby Boucher.
You know what I'm saying? Anyway, sorry. Yeah.
Anyway, okay. The data also provides some credible level of scientific support for some of the therapeutic uses which cannabis has been used in clinical practices in the United States, namely anorexia, pain, nausea, and vomiting, and chemotherapy, and AIDS, blah, blah, blah. We all know what people say cannabis will relieve. We just need the government to actually start listening now. And it sounds like they're actually starting to look at this. However, they note that their analysis and conclusions are not meant to imply that the safety and effectiveness have been established for cannabis. That would support and its approved. That would depend upon its support and approval for any particular health condition. Finally, the researchers point out that cannabis withdrawal has been reported in heavy chronic users
It's funny.
with symptoms with symptoms that peak within days and decline over a week or two, but not in occasional users. Now we all know heavy cannabis users go if you take a tolerance break, yes, you're going to pay the price for a week or two. You know, you're going to have a sleepless night or two. You may have some bad dreams. You may have some upset stomach, but it's not anything like withdrawal from alcohol addiction or heroin addiction or any other opioid type addiction like that. It's an uncomfortable situation, but it's not life-threatening. And that's the important part right there. Even with alcohol, heavy alcohol addiction can be very dangerous, and people sometimes have to be weaned off of it slowly, because if you take them off of it suddenly, it can put the body in shock and it can kill them. I didn't know this until I researched it.
Isn't that why they kept liquor stores open during the pandemic for people who are addicted to alcohol?
That's the alleged story, but it's for a completely different reason altogether. They want to ruin society, but we won't go into that. That's not for this show. All right. And you know, the words there we've said, safe and effective, and it's like those two words put together like that. Just they're trigger words for me. They're safe and effective. Yeah, whatever Well, but anyway, let's
Well, we
move
have to
on.
understand with cannabis, everything has a price to pay for it. Anytime, I mean, if you overeat, you're going to have a stomach ache the next day. One of those kind of things. Anything.
Right.
If you drink too much water, you're going to feel horrible. But yeah, if you use too much cannabis, you will feel bad the next day, but it's never going to kill you. That's the important part. We've never documented a death from cannabis yet.
That's right.
Okay. The cannabis withdrawal syndrome appears to be relatively mild compared to the withdrawal symptoms associated with alcohol, which can include more serious symptoms such as agitation, paranoia, seizures, and even death. We don't definitely want that. So, okay, rescheduling cannabis could open more avenues for research, allowing cannabis businesses to bank more freely and to open and to have firms no longer subject to a 40-year-old tax code that disallows credit for deductions by income generated by sale of Schedule 1 and Schedule 2 substances. That's a big one right there. By rescheduling cannabis to Schedule 3, we would allow certain tax credits for businesses that everybody else gets. But right now, our cannabis businesses can't have them because, well, the Constitution and the war on drugs made it illegal for people to do that.
I think it's just difficult for anybody nowadays, in the Western world at least, is to sure in the Eastern world actually saying that, to trust that their government is doing anything for their own. But it's like, oh, we should make it Schedule 3 because that's what people want, right? We'll do what they want because that's what we do for our job. Here you go. Oh God, man, it's a pain in the ass. Anyway, sorry, just reading the chat there. Conspiracy Special Version 2 is coming. I'm organising it. We're trying to get the second special, and everybody's up for it as well. I spoke to Ben recently, and we're just sorting out dates. Maybe it'll be at the end of the month. We was going to do it on the last Friday of the month, but that's the Patreon session. We can't skip the Patreon session. You know what I'm saying? So
absolutely not.
So still organising a date, but it is coming. Everybody, bear that in mind. The Conspiracy Special episode part 2 is coming soon, where we get to finish spinning that wheel and discuss the rest of what was on there. We haven't forgotten about it.
Okay, let me sum this article back up. But anyway, the DEA wants to completely remind everybody. It says the DEA will have the final authority to make any changes to cannabis scheduling, and it will go through a rulemaking process that will include a period for the public to provide comments before making any scheduling action finalized. Okay, this is a government action here. The Drug Enforcement Agency is a federal government agency. We all know that we can't count on the federal government to do anything, right or wrong. We cannot predict what the federal government is. And even though right now you're hearing us talk about rescheduling it to Schedule 3, I can promise you that this is not a guarantee in any way. Not a guarantee.
Was it Reagan who said the 9 scariest words you could hear is, "I'm from the government and I'm here to help"?
That's exactly what we're looking at here. But either way, if it gets rescheduled to Schedule 3, it will be federally legal for home grow. So I don't care what happens. What I'm doing now is what I'm going to be doing then. One of those things. That's my sum up of the whole story.
Exactly, yeah. And that's how it should be for everybody. Just do your thing, man. You're not doing anything wrong. And just...
Yeah.
But this is still pretty good news, no? Like that the FDA is coming out and being like, we support, maybe not descheduling, but at least rescheduling to Schedule 3.
I consider it very good news because for the longest time, the government would completely deny the fact that there was any positive at all to cannabis at all. Right. And now the government is finally coming back through HHS and the FDA and saying, we see what we're talking about. Yeah, well, actually not even saying maybe, they're saying they were wrong. So it's huge right there. But again, the DEA is more of that's a judicial area. So the scientific side says, yeah, we should reschedule. Let's see what the law enforcement side says.
Yeah. Right. That's a whole different can of worms.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, man. Good stories. It's becoming interesting, and it's going to be an interesting year for news in the USA.
Yeah, it's going to be a crazy year, man. It's going to be stupid.
Let's see how much cannabis becomes a card to play during this whole process. I know there's a lot of other things going on in the world right now, but maybe it's going to be something that's put into the election.
Yeah,
I've got my popcorn ready.
We all heard about that the last time, though. The Democrats needed that boost, and then Biden and it comes up on stage, and him and Harris make that big promise that it's going to be decriminalized and they're going to do all that stuff. What do we got? Nothing. So I want to remind everybody, we got nothing last time. If they promise you again, you're going to get the same thing this time.
That's
So
right.
don't take that promise. That's not a reason for a vote.
Right.
Are you insinuating that politicians are lying to us, Monkey?
Just slightly, yes.
Oh my goodness.
Not even slightly. I'll go say yes.
They're not only
yes.
lying to us, they're bending us over and fucking us as well.
But you
Fucking.
never know, because I personally find that our prime minister in Canada has lied about all kinds of shit, made all kinds of campaign promises he did not keep, but he kept the legalization one. So,
Yeah.
you know, you never know.
Double-edged sword. Yes, you just
It can
gotta.
surprise you sometimes. Every
You
so
just
often.
gotta hope for the best, man. Expect the worst and
right.
hope for the best, and you'll be pleasantly
Yeah.
surprised. You know?
Yeah.
Well, it took Biden 2 years into his presidency to even ask for the rescheduling. That was crazy, you know. So
Mhm.
you
He
had to
forgot
drag
about
his
it, you
feet
know.
there.
He's got. There's a lot of things on top of mind, you know.
Like, where is it?
Yeah. now, Marge. Now.
Okay, sweet.
There's only certain presidents you can say that about. All right. What
Okay.
else do we have? We got some news from Marge.
We do. We have some news out of
yeah,
Germany.
From Germany. That's
Let's
right.
see what's going on there, because well, let's get into it. German medical cannabis associations call for wider regulatory reform.
And just a quick
Yeah.
shout out there. This is from Sarah Sinclair, who's been a guest on the show before.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and
I
she
did
should be
not know
coming on for a guest again sometime next month. She got some news to share with us. So this is one of her news articles from Cannabis News, cannabishealthnews.co.uk.
So German
associations. Sorry, Marge.
No worries. German associations have called for wider reforms to medical cannabis regulations to reduce bureaucracy and open up access for patients. So in July 2023, Germany's federal government commissioned the Federal Joint Committee, haha, no pun intended, the GBA, the body responsible for determining which medical treatments are covered by the country's statutory health insurance, to amend the current regulations around medical cannabis prescriptions. The GBA, as it's been shortened to, is in the process of deciding 4 specialist areas for which the current approval requirements should no longer apply, making it easier to obtain insurance coverage for the medicine. However, the country's medical cannabis associations say that does not go far enough and have called for the approval requirements to be removed for all conditions in which cannabis has shown medical efficacy. Medical cannabis has been legal in Germany since 2017 and can be prescribed by any doctor for patients with serious medical conditions. It is one of the few countries globally where the treatment can be covered under the public health insurance system in certain cases. But currently, for patients with statutory health insurance, the cost of medical cannabis are only covered if previously approved by the insurance company. This application process is said to be daunting, lengthy, and bureaucratic for doctors and patients, with 30 to 40% of applications being rejected. Previous amendments or the regulation around the prescription of medical cannabis and its reimbursements under the public health insurance system have been in the spotlight for some time. In March 2023, the GBA announced that the only initial prescription of cannabis and a fundamental change in therapy would require the approval of health insurance companies and could only be refused in justified exceptional cases. Subsequent prescriptions, changes to dosage, or switching to other standardized extracts or flower-based products would no longer require reapproval in order to be covered by the statutory health insurance. While this was largely welcomed, the Industry Association of Cannabis Industry, the Industry Association of Cannabis Industry, that's an interesting
Yeah, it's a strange one.
thing, expressed concern that this may cause additional uncertainty for patients and doctors, and has been pushing for broader changes. The BVCW, which is the Industry Association Cannabis Industry, along with several other, that's so confusing, along with several other medical
No.
cannabis patient advocacy organizations, have now called on the GBA to remove the approval requirement for all conditions in which cannabis-based medicines have been found to be effective. In a joint press release issued earlier this month, they
No pun
argued
intended.
exactly urged the body to make the necessary adjustments to abolish the approval requirements outlined in the Medical Cannabis Act in the upcoming regulations. This reduction in bureaucracy would not only lead to cost savings for the health insurance companies, but also for better treatment for patients, they say. They add, quote, an optimal supply situation for patients can only be guaranteed if the approval requirement is completely abolished in order to give patients access to the therapy they need, regardless of their financial possibilities. At the same time, prescribing doctors must be protected from recourse. The signatory associations are therefore calling on the legislature to make the necessary adjustments within the framework of the upcoming regulations with the framework of the Medical Cannabis Act or within the framework of reducing bureaucracy in the healthcare system, end quote. Whew, that was a lot, but
Yeah. Woo.
according to the local media reports, 17 written statements have been submitted with those entitled to comment, including the industry of whatever industry, invited to an oral hearing with the Subcommittee on Medicines. This is expected to be held in the coming months, following which the GBA will make its final decision. So they have yet to make this decision, and perhaps your future guest, Sarah, will have some good news about that, because anything that's going to reduce bureaucracy and make it easier for people to access their medicine would be wonderful, and hopefully eventually lead the way to recreational legalization.
Step by
That would
step.
be good.
Goddamn
That last
Germany.
part was-
Why do you have to
Yeah.
be so far in front of everybody else? Fuck.
I thought they were gonna have it done by now.
It's the
Hey,
bureaucracy.
somebody's got to go first,
you know?
man.
Right. Right.
But yeah, more good steps from Germany. Look, this should be done by the end of the year, right? It shouldn't take too much
I
longer.
thought they were talking about like the legalization for recreational is gonna be possibly done by the end of this year, but
Yeah, I thought so as well.
Yeah.
they're also talking about making it easier for medical patients and doctors, which I kind of like to see as well, because so many doctors are oftentimes probably afraid. I
There's still a
guess,
lot
in
of
some
stigma
places
all over
prescribe,
Europe. But
yeah.
still, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, in the States, the doctors are actually forbidden to talk about cannabis. The Medical Association, AMA, doesn't allow it, doesn't want it.
Which is really crazy, because that means if you have a patient going to their doctor being like, I'm using this already.
Mhm.
Like that, does that mean they can't even bring it up to their doctor because they might be concerned about contraindications with other medicines they're taking?
I don't know. I do know that when I brought it up to my doctor, I brought it up, not my doctor, that she got very nervous very fast.
Right.
He's
Yeah.
talking about
I said-
drugs. He's gonna steal from me.
I said that C word, that cannabis word, you know? Yeah, but then when we talked to Dr. Grinspoon, after he did his second book, that's when we found out that the AMA just certainly does not like doctors to even speak about cannabis at this point, you know? It's
Yeah, some bullshit.
the way it is. So
The
yeah, it's gotta be
stigma is
changed.
real. No, we can
Is
often
that
get
because
confused
of-
again at echo chamber, you know, but the stigma is real out there. There's still people who think cannabis is actually the devil.
Is that because medical doctors just haven't been adequately educated on the subject yet?
Probably,
Oh yeah.
partially that, yeah, I would say, you know, but I think partially it's just fear, intimidation. And
Right.
partially it's, you know, partially it's just no information, no education, that kind of thing that's what my doctor told me. She says, we don't have any information on that, so I can't do anything for you with that. So sent me somewhere else.
Yeah, man. Very interesting. Very interesting. We'll see what happens in Europe over the next few years and see how this affects other countries around Germany as well.
Well, it definitely going to affect some other countries. You're curious to see if you're going to start seeing the you know, domino effect, where other countries will say, well, if they're doing it, we're doing it too. That's what you're really looking for, isn't it?
Get some of that Berlin bud. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
that German ganja. But we got two more stories. I just want to quickly cover this one because last week we covered the controversy where there was some people who were importing cannabis from the USA. They got found out and they're getting like 8 years in prison or something fucking crazy. But at the same time, there was another company that was being celebrated because they were importing cannabis into the UK. And it's like, what the actual fuck is going on here? Well, we have something similar to that. We have a cannabis plants worth £4 million sterling seized in Rotherham police raid. So the police have been out there again being heroes as they are and saving us all from this devil cannabis plant that is trying to take over the world. And it's just a short news article. I'll read it out to you here. Thousands of cannabis plants worth more than £4 million have been seized by police in a raid in Rotherham town centre. A total of 4,375 plants were found at a commercial premises on Howard Street on Wednesday, South Yorkshire Police said. Chief Inspector Sharon Wood said, "This is a large cannabis grow in the centre of town, and I'm pleased we've been able to shut it down and destroy the plants." The force said they seized plants that had street value of more than £4 million. No arrests have been made yet, it's added. Nobody's been arrested in something that such a big operation like that. Fucking nearly 4,500 plants, and nobody was there taking care of them. The plants were found in 6 rooms over 2 floors of the building. Ms. Wood said factories like the one raided were a fire risk due to dangerous electrical wiring. She asked members of the public to look out for signs a building was being used to grow drugs and report them to concerns about properties to police, whatever, Anyway, so this is just, again, I feel as if when I've read this one, I felt as if pretty much what's going on here is the government have their friends who are now legally growing cannabis here in the UK. But they also have this gang that will go out and shut out any of the competition that's going to be put up against their friends. You know what I mean? It's like this is some gang warfare bullshit here. It's like, no, you can't do your business because you haven't paid me the fee, and now my friend has paid the money, so we're gonna make sure that he's successful and you're not. I'm not saying this is right. They're doing it illegally. It is a fire risk, but it should be legalized so these people who have the resources to do something like this can grow 4,000 plants if they wanted to, and can start a business where they can put a brand on that and start selling it as cannabis to the legal fucking market, rather than there being a big fire risk, probably people trafficking involved as well. They haven't found anybody, so there's something dodgy going on in the background there. Probably people trafficking from it's Albania, isn't it? That's where they all keep coming from. So it's just, when are they going to see the fucking censor and finally legalize, man? And how long are we going to put up with this bullshit of the 2 tiers of society that these people are not allowed? We'll send the gang after you and they'll come and steal your shit and smash everything up. But they won't do that to the companies who are going to bought the license from the government. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So go down fucking Norwich or whatever it is with the big greenhouses officers. And there's loads of fucking grows around there, but they're all legal. They're the government's friends. Let's leave them alone. It's like, come on, man. You can't keep doing this shit. You should at least make the licenses available for these people setting up these huge farms. Something needs to be done here. You can't keep playing these silly fucking games. And this happens every week, by the way. This is not just, out the blue. Oh, look at this. Oh, my gosh. Look, £4 million raid. This is not anything new. You know what I mean? It's absolute fucking piss take. It's not like anywhere through that article I said a record amount of plants was found. A record amount of money has been seized. No, it's not even a big one. It's just another one. You know what I mean?
That's the right word. Yeah, another.
Fucking hell, man. Things have got to change because they're just smashing their heads against the wall and pretty much wasting taxpayer money, and it's doing nothing. It's doing nothing. It won't affect any of the market.
I mean, people wouldn't do this if there wasn't a demand for it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Stupidness, man. Stupidness.
Stupidness.
And whoever invested the money to sell that grow unlucky, that's a fucking shitload of money you're out there. Just setting something up that side. How much you got to invest to get that? Fuck. That's crazy, man. But that's the way it goes. Should have applied for the license.
Right.
I wonder if you can. I wonder if, for example, I suddenly had a shitload of money and was like, I want to go get a license so I can grow cannabis here in the UK. I wonder if I could do that. I wonder if I, just a normal guy, could do it, or whether legitimately you have to go through the government and be a government friend. If anybody out there, listener of the show, got a couple of $1 million in the bank they can spare, send it to Mackie and I'll go and put that experiment into place. And I'll see if I can get that fucking license and build myself a greenhouse, man.
All it takes is a campaign contribution to become a government friend,
That's right. I just don't have that because I spend all my time making podcasts and posts on a forum. Yeah, so interesting. It's funny to see how things are going in the UK. But now we have one more news article that we should get to here, everybody. And I'm sure you're all on the edge of your seat waiting for this one. You've all been waiting for so long because you've already heard about it. And now we're
I
going to
have not
discuss
heard
it.
about it.
You haven't heard about it, Marge?
Well, I have now.
They have not. Okay. What is, I've said many times, when they legalize, if they legalize here in the UK and they're like, oh, you can grow, you just have to put your name on this license, on this list here, we'll send you a license. And people are going to be like, oh, cool, here, sign it. We're like, cool, there we go. There you go, officer. I'm on your register now. And then 6 months later, they're like, no, we changed our mind. It's not legal anymore. Then they know everybody who was fucking growing, and they can just go kick off all the doors and go get all the growers from all the people who are now illegally growing, even though they were allowed to at the time. They still have your name. Don't get a license. But anyway, in Thailand, we know that Thailand has been a good place for cannabis for a while now, isn't it, Monkey? I mean, it's a good tourist destination.
It was for a short while. It legalized quickly and developed fast.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Maybe a little too fast.
Really fast, yeah.
He says here, and this is from CNN, some decent reporting from CNN for a change, from the Clinton News Network, just saying. Thailand moves to ban recreational cannabis use 18 months after historical decriminalization. So yes, a big step backwards for Thailand here.
That's disappointing to see.
Yeah, but it's always going. I mean, not expected. I wouldn't say that. Just that you had to expect that to happen somewhere, and maybe this could happen in the US because we've seen some states try and do that as well, right, Monkey? Try and take a step backwards.
Yeah, a couple states have. Matter of fact, a couple of states pushed themselves backwards. Put it that way. Legal pressures.
It's crazy, man. It's like when it's legalized, it doesn't mean that the fight's over. They can still take it back at any time. It's just it's fucking about the fight isn't over, even though you can go smoke.
Is it me though? Does that happen very often? I mean, obviously it's happening right now in Thailand, but once a place legalizes, I feel like it doesn't often get reversed.
No, yeah, for sure.
Not often, but it does.
Not
it has
yet.
happened
Not
in small
yet.
communities. Yeah,
things can change. Politics is a strange thing. Things can change, man. But I'll read a little bit more of this article here. It says Bangkok, Thailand. Thailand's new government is moving ahead to pass new legislation banning cannabis for recreational use in a major reversal 18 months after the country became the first in Asia to decriminalize the plant. The relaxed laws saw a lucrative cannabis industry catering to locals and foreigners alike boom across the Southeast Asian nation. A new conservative coalition government came to power last year, vowing to tighten the rules and only allow medical use. A draft bill was released on Tuesday by Thailand's health ministry, outlining hefty fines or prison sentences of up to 1 year for offenders or both. It's also welcomed feedback from the public. So the public are supporting this. Allegedly, they wouldn't say otherwise, would they? They'd go to the members of the public that agree and they'd be like, yeah, look, we got this guy here. It's public feedback. Again, just altering the stats to make it sound a specific way to suit their narrative. That's how they roll. But this is fucked, man. Look at they said there the business has been booming when it comes to recreational cannabis over in Thailand. And now they're going to stop people from doing that. There's going to be a huge drop in tourism. There's going to be loads of shops closing down. So the local economy around lots of different places is going to change. There's going to be lots of people just using cannabis because they've got used to it over the last 18 months, just being a normal thing. And now they're told they're going to have to stop unless they've got some kind of medical use for it. It's madness, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's scary shit, man. Do you think has there ever been any move like that in Canada, March, where they were going to try and go backwards and make it illegal again?
No, never.
That's crazy, right?
No, that's why I was asking if it, like, Monkey, you said it's happened in smaller communities, but I feel like once a place legalizes, usually it's pretty hard to go back because you sort of get businesses established and all that kind of thing. Industry pops up around it, a legal industry that pays taxes and all the rest of it. And the governments are like, ooh, this is nice. And people are also like, this is much better. And so they decide to keep going with it. And if there's problems, they do eventually get addressed somewhere, somehow.
So this carries on. Cannabis and cannabis-related products will be limited to medical and health purposes only, the bill states, echoing Prime Minister Surefra Tavisin's Haven't had to pronounce a difficult word for a while. It's been a while. Just in case anybody's new to the show and haven't heard us butcher names before, it's something that we do. We apologize, but yeah, sometimes it's difficult for us to say the names properly. We apologize for any mispronunciation of people's names in advance. Anyway,
No,
yeah,
but we do not pretend that we're perfect at all.
exactly,
No way.
exactly. You try saying it.
Really, we do the best we can.
You know, Srethra Tavisins pledge in September that his new government. I thought that was going to be a girl's name, Sethra. Seems like, but anyway, in September, that his new government will rectify laws on cannabis within the next 6 months. So it's going to take 6 months to implement all of this. Smoking cannabis in public remained illegal even under the relaxed laws, but the proposed new laws will ban advertising and marketing campaigns for cannabis buds and extracts and other cannabis products. An earlier draft bill failed to win parliamentary approval in November. Tavisins has been local about banning recreational cannabis and stated in several media interviews that drug abuse is a big problem in Thailand. We drafted this law to prohibit the wrong use of cannabis, said the health minister Choknan Shrak. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm not even going to go back and try that one. Reported Reuters. All recreational usage is wrong. CNN. Fucking hell, what the fuck is all recreational usage is wrong? God damn. CNN has reached out to Thailand's health minister for further comment about the new proposal. Thailand became the first country in Asia to fully decriminalize cannabis in June 2022, so it hasn't even been that long.
No.
18 months, like they said, isn't it? Crazy. A move years in the making and a rarity in the region where many countries give long jail terms and then and death sentences. We've seen that as well. That was Thailand. Was it? Remember the guy who he didn't even have cannabis? He just had the phone number to somebody who could get him cannabis, and he got life sentence. Singapore.
Yeah, that was
right,
Singapore.
Right. Yeah. Fuck. Yeah,
That's
They're
crazy.
pretty strict.
Yeah, they're strict as fuck, man. Now, in nearby Hong Kong, even non-psychoactive cannabidiol CBD is outlawed.
Yeah, that's
Jesus. Wow, man. Singapore maintains the death penalty for trafficking drugs. Yeah, as you said. A residents traveling to Thailand are warned they could still be prosecuted on return if they smoke weed overseas. Medical cannabis has been legal in Thailand since 2018, but decriminalization in 2022 took things a step further, making it no longer a crime to grow and trade to grow and trade cannabis and hemp products. So yeah, blah 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 blah. This article does continue. It goes on for a bit. You can go and check it out on CNN if you want to go and read any more. But we get the gist of the idea here that things are going a little bit backwards. By the look at things.
Yeah,
It's,
we had a
it's
kind of
cool.
interesting conversation with Breeder Steve. We had a little interview during the week. It hasn't been released yet, but we'll talk about a little piece of it because Breeder Steve's been involved in Thailand. And he says, in the article, it said that medical use of cannabis was going to be approved. But he made a great point saying that medical use of cannabis in Thailand is likely to be quite different than the medical use of cannabis in the Western culture, because medical use of cannabis in Thailand for decades and for generations has been bong rips.
Yep.
So,
Oh, really?
So yeah, are they going to be prescribing bong rips, or are they going to be selling bud? I mean, it could be
take
anything.
2 bong rips and call me in the morning.
Yeah, go to the dispensary and get 2 bong rips.
They're just sitting there in the doctor's office, and he's like, "Yo, just hit this."
Really, get the bong sitting on the table there.
So
But
is it
that's-
almost like their medical program would be more like a recreational program?
We really don't know, but that's the point Breeder Steve made. Is so this is Thailand. You don't really know what they're going to do. So don't.
Right.
You're painting the picture in your mind of something changing. He says it could be anything right now. They have no clue what's going to happen.
Well, because also like all recreational usage is wrong, but everybody could suddenly be very stressed out and need cannabis medically.
Yeah, and I still stand behind a little bit of a statement that most cannabis use, if people think it's recreational, is probably some level of medical use behind it. Taking a hit to unwind at the end of a day.
Right.
Could be basically the same thing as taking a mild tranquilizer. Who knows? Kind of thing like
Yeah.
that could be prescribed, or antidepressant, or something like that.
Mm.
So we don't know what it's going to be in Thailand. I have no clue. So hold on, everybody. I have a feeling once Thailand realizes how much money they're going to lose in the tourism, that they're probably going to retool it a little bit.
Yeah.
Money speaks volumes.
But I
It
don't know.
seems
They
like.
might make enough money from all the fines that they don't even
True.
need the tourism anymore if it's going to be 1,000 per person.
Yeah. I don't think it's over with for Thailand yet, as far as that goes. You know, they'll change it, and if it doesn't work right, or if it needs to be tweaked, they'll make an exception here or there. This is just, I believe it, at least, it's just an evolving cannabis economy, and it's going to basically find itself a healthy level soon.
Yeah, that's it. It's just teething pains, and it's going to go backwards and forwards for a while, but eventually it's going to end up as, just being legal, and people just don't bother about it anymore.
Yeah,
Times will change. It just takes a while for them to change sometimes.
They just released it out of, opened the genie out of that bottle so fast, and it did everything so quickly. It shocked a bunch of people. So I think they're just going to pull it back, and slowly but surely, Thailand's going to find its way.
It's them goddamn tourists going over there with them smoke guns where they're just blowing smoke everywhere, burning an ounce.
The fog
Yeah,
machines.
that's probably what sparked it.
And they're just
That's
like,
just-
sick of these fucking tourists.
Right.
It's-
Just being
it's-
obnoxious and stuff.
Kind of funny, but at the same time, if somebody came to my town and did that, where I'm standing there in the street, I think I might be pissed too.
No, you
Right.
wouldn't.
No.
You'd be like, woo! You would get your t-shirt off and shit.
It depends, man. It depends. Hey, but what if I'm dressed up all ready to going into a wedding, and he hits me with that fog gun? Now walking there reeking of ganja.
Very true. Very true. You know?
There's a lot of situations that could happen there. You really don't know. Maybe an asthmatic's walking on the street. You really can't tell.
Yeah.
You know. But I would never recommend anybody do that smoke gun thing. No, nah, don't do that. That's inconsiderate and a waste of good weed. If you're going to do that, go inside and find a bunch of people who really want it, and hotbox the hell out that room, you know?
Damn, changed your sense of it for a long time. But yeah, so that's a lot of news stories there, man. And we'll keep you informed about what's going on over in Germany and in Thailand as well, because these are going to be developing stories as we go throughout the year. So make sure you stay tuned to figure out what will go on over the next few months, maybe the next couple of years. This shit will maybe spread out for. We'll see what happens, man. Gonna be interesting for sure. I think what's going to happen in 2024. It's going to be an interesting year. I think so. Anyway.
I think so. Yeah.
Seems like all the news stories followed potential legalization one way or another this week.
Not here in the UK.
Well, everywhere but the UK.
That's true. UK is just more about arresting people.
Well, that's it. At least people in the UK can be safe in the knowledge that there is less people riding around on electric scooters now.
With weed.
Right, at 2:30 a.m.
With weed.
At 2:30. Somebody think of the children. At 2:30 in the morning.
What a menace.
Just getting back from work because the kids need to
thing
go
they
out
put
and
a
work
stop
now
to
to
it.
make ends meet here in the UK. Jesus. We're going back to the Dickens ages, man. You're going to have chimney sweeps. Jesus. Well, no, it's not that bad, really. I'm just exaggerating, everybody. It's not that bad yet. Anyway, yeah, I think that's all the news stories, right? I don't think we have anything to add there. We got some forum news that we'll quickly cover. I'm going to be doing some maintenance tomorrow, which will be today if you listen to this. So I should probably take that bit out because it will be done by the time I send the episode out. So that doesn't matter. And any addition to the forum news here? You got anything to add there, Monkey?
No, can't think of anything off the top of my head right now.
I know I've got something. I just a little high, and I can't remember where I put the notes.
No, we did launch a new comp over at Percys this month. We have a grow of
that's
the
right.
quarter going on now, which is different because
right.
we have been doing only a plant of the month, and it was kind of restricting to some people because sometimes the pictures just aren't working out when you have things in scrogs and whatnot. So now we have grow of the quarter, which includes an outdoor grow, an indoor grow, a scrog, a sog. It doesn't make any difference, just go for it. But anyway, so a new way to compete with your grow over at Percys. Check it out. Turpopotamus is running that one for us over at Percys, and we do appreciate his effort on that.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say as well. The YouTube channel, the one you're on right now, is just on the brink of 4,000 subscribers.
Nice.
Yeah,
Amazing.
catching up, Mr. Beast. Catching up.
Ways to go, but you're getting there.
Mr. Beast has probably got 4K subscribers in the first half hour of this show. It's crazy how many fucking subscribers he's got. Mr. Beast, hashtag Mr. Beast. Come and collab. Come and be a guest. We'll interview Mr. Beast. Come on. That would be fun.
Yeah. I still remember when we had our first 1,000 subscribers, man. So, yeah,
Remember?
Remember when? I remember.
It's gone up fast as well. We're getting like 250 to 300 subscribers every month.
Nice. Good
Yeah,
deal.
I don't know why. Thanks for listening, everybody. Yeah.
We hit the right algorithm finally. That's all, you know.
I don't know about that. I think we just, I don't know, just tormenting it now. It's just getting sick of us. We're being persistent, you know. Yeah. So there's the forum. Lots of work going on over at the forum right now. There's there's lots of articles being written, some design changes and stuff. So make sure you go and check out if you haven't been over at the forum for a while. We've got some cool interviews coming up, but you can find about those if you're a patron. You'll see the streams come up in the on the Patreon page pretty soon. We've got some cool interviews coming up, man. Yeah, and lots more in the pipeline as well, penciled in and all that. Any news on your side, Marge, with the Bite Me? You got any news over there?
I have a couple of episodes coming out that I'm looking forward to, and what else do I have going on? I think that's about it, really. I've just been trying to line up more interviews now that the new year has started, so that's something to watch out for.
Yeah, same. Mission. Somebody's
It
got
is
to do
always a
it.
mission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just a quick shout out there to Bubble Hawk. I hope you're feeling better, mate. I hope you got the lube off your feet. He said he couldn't walk because of the lube on his feet. He was slipping
That's
everywhere.
it.
You know.
Right.
Terrible thing, man.
Yeah. Yeah. So hopefully next week he'll be back if you can get the mask off. We'll see. But that's it for the cannabis news this week. Let's go on to the outro. Mary Jane said there, why has he got blue lube on his feet? You're going to have to ask him. Mary Jane, you're going to have to ask him.
He's gonna start
to
getting
give us.
messages. He's gonna be like, "What the fuck is going on?"
We heard something about a sex toy and an injury. And...
Yeah,
Lube
my
and,
wasn't
yeah.
pressed. Like what? What
damn.
are they saying about me over there?
See, that's what happens when you miss a week, Bubble. We make it
That's
up
right.
for you.
That's right. We can tell everybody why you're away. We're not going to hide it anymore, Bubble.
No, man. It gets embarrassing hiding it. Well, just tell it the way it is.
Damn, yes, but good show. Some nice news there. It flew by, that did. But we'll be back in about 20 minutes to go and do the grow guides, where we're talking about high stress training techniques this week. It's going to be an interesting one, like super cropping, monster cropping, all that kind of shit. And these, when you pretty much you're going to beat your plant until it goes into submission and starts to give you good yields. All right, that's what we're
I don't know
talking
about that. It sounds awful violent there. I don't know,
I said grow, pop.
Bam! Get it!
Punch in the
Only
neck,
that
pop.
works.
That's it.
Roundhouse
Want
to
it
the
down there?
eyebrow, pop.
Oh, jeez.
Yes. So come and join us in a little bit for that. Make sure you go roll up some joints. Have a quick break now. Gonna go get some drinks, some munchies, some cannabis, and we'll see you on the other stream, which is linked in the chat. So if you're there on the YouTube, just click on that link there at the top of chat, and you'll be able to go over to the Grow Guides, and we'll see you there shortly. Maybe in what are we saying? It's about 23 minutes. Gonna have a nice long break. Roll a couple of extra joints, everybody.
Ooh,
You know what I mean?
23
Make the
minutes,
most
yeah.
out of the time. That's very
Right,
cool.
catch you on the flip side.
Kettle on and all that. Yes, good idea there, Mad Dog. We'll see you on the other side, everybody, in about 20 minutes. Have a good one. Thanks for joining us. Hit the like button and subscribe. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
See you later, everybody.